Good morning.
Good morning.
Today,
Good morning, sir.
it's the worst one I've heard. So, I chose one of my favorite passages. I don't know that it really has much connection to what I'm going to tell you today, but from the book of John, you hear Jesus tell his disciples, "This is my commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you slaves, for the slave does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you that you would go out and bear fruit, and that your fruit would remain, so that whatever you ask of the Father in my name, he may give to you. This is my command to you, that you love one another." Please rise for the Lord's. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
so the chapel talk I'm giving to you today is not mine. It's not my own words, for two reasons. I want to read to you one of my favorite personal essays. It's very short. And the second reason is because I'm unoriginal. This is by an essayist named Brian Doyle, and he wrote about the heart. And so my connection to the chapel, to the scripture, is talking about love and the heart. And so he says, "Consider the hummingbird for a long moment. A hummingbird's heart beats 10 times per second. A hummingbird's heart is the size of a pencil eraser. A hummingbird's heart is a lot of the hummingbird. Joyous voladores, flying jewels, the first white explorers in the Americas called them. And the white men had never seen such creatures. For hummingbirds came into the world only in the Americas. Nowhere else in the universe, more than 300 species of them, whirring and zooming and nectaring in Hummer time zones 9 times removed from ours, their hearts hammering faster than we could clearly hear if we press our elephantine ears to their infinitesimal chests. Each one visits 1,000 flowers a day." Think about that, 1,000 flowers. "They can dive at 60 miles an hour. They can fly backwards. They can fly more than 500 miles without pausing for rest. But when they rest, they come close to death. On frigid nights, or when they are starving, they retreat into torpor, their metabolic rate slowing to a 50th of their normal sleep rate. Their hearts sludging nearly to a halt, barely beating. And if they are not soon warmed, if they do not soon find what that which is sweet, their hearts grow cold and they cease to beat. Consider for a moment those hummingbirds who did not open their eyes again today. This very day in the Americas, bearded helmet crests and booted racket tails, violet-tailed silks and violet-capped wood nymphs, crimson topazes and purple-crowned fairies, red-tailed comets and amethyst wood stars, rainbow-bearded thornbills and glittering-bellied emeralds, velvet-purple coronets and golden-bellied star-frontlets, fiery-tailed albills and Andean hill stars, spatula-tails and puff-legs, each the most amazing thing you have never seen. Each thunderous wild heart the size of an infant's fingernail. Each mad heart silent, a brilliant music stilled." Hummingbirds, like all flying birds, but more so, have incredibly enormous, immense, ferocious metabolisms. To drive these metabolisms, they have race car hearts that eat oxygen at an eye-popping rate. Their hearts are built of thinner, leaner fiber than ours. Their arteries are stiffer and more taut. They have more mitochondria in their heart muscles, anything to gulp more oxygen. Their hearts are stripped to the skin for the war against gravity and inertia, the mad search for food, the insane idea of flight. The price of their ambition is a life closer to death. They suffer more heart attacks and aneurysms and ruptures than any other living thing, than any other living creature. It's expensive to fly. You burn out. You fry the machine. You mount the engine. Every creature on Earth has approximately 2 billion heartbeats to spend in a lifetime. You can spend them slowly, like a tortoise, and live to be 200 years old. Or you can spend them quickly, like a hummingbird, and live to be 2 years old. The biggest heart in the world is inside the blue whale. It weighs more than 7 tons. It is as big as a room. It is a room, with 4 chambers. A child, or Cadet Way, or Cadet Davis, could walk around it, head high, swinging, bending only to step through the valves. The valves are as big as the swinging doors in Belfry Hall's bathroom. The house of the heart drives a creature 100 feet long. When this creature is born, it is 20 feet long and weighs 4 tons. It is way bigger than your car. It drinks 100 gallons of milk from its mother every day and gains 200 pounds each day. And when it is 7 or 8, it endures an unimaginable puberty, and then it essentially disappears from all human knowledge. For next to nothing is known of the mating habits, travel patterns, diet, social life, language, social structure, diseases, spirituality, wars, stories, despairs, and arts of the blue whale. There are perhaps 10,000 blue whales in the world, living in every ocean on Earth, and of the largest animal who ever lived, we know nearly nothing. But we know this: the animals with the largest hearts in the world generally travel in pairs. And their penetrating, moaning cries, their piercing, yearning tongue can be heard underwater for miles and miles. Mammals and birds have hearts with 4 chambers. Reptiles and turtles have hearts with 3 chambers. Fish have hearts with 2 chambers. Insects and mollusks have hearts with 1 chamber. Worms have hearts with 1 chamber, although they may have as many as 11 single-chambered hearts. Unicellular bacteria have no hearts at all, but even they have fluid eternally in motion, washing from one side of one cell to the other, swirling and whirling. No living being is without interior liquid motion. We all churn inside. So he concludes, so much held in a heart in a lifetime, so much held in a heart in a day, an hour, a moment. We are utterly open with no one in the end, not mother, not father, not wife or husband, not lover, child, or friend. We open windows to each other, but we live alone in the house of the heart. Perhaps we must. Perhaps we could not bear to be so naked for fear of a constantly harrowed heart. When young, we think there will be some person who will come and savor and sustain us always. When we are older, we know this is the dream of a child. That all hearts finally are bruised and scarred, scored and torn, repaired by time and will, patched by force of character, yet fragile and rickety forevermore. No matter how ferocious the defense and how many bricks you bring to the wall, you can brick up your heart as stout and tight and hard and cold and impregnable as you possibly can, and down it comes in an instant. Felled by a woman's second glance, a child's after breath, the shatter of glass in the road, the words, "I have something to tell you," a cat with a broken spine dragging itself in the forest to die, the brush of your mother's papery ancient hand in the thicket of your hair, the memory of your father's voice early in the morning echoing from the kitchen where he is making pancakes for his